Thanks for the invitation, Brian. I don't have a PowerPoint, but, and really, I think I have more questions after sitting through here today than I do answers. But I'm a producer. First and foremost, I do get my boots dirty once in a while. I also work for the Canadian Simmental Association. There's two people I'd like to introduce. Mauricio Orcia is with the Canadian Beef Breeds Council. He's our technical services coordinator. And Ricardo Ventura works with Beef Improvement Opportunities. So all three of us are going to be around for the duration of the week. And if you have any questions about what's going on in Canada, we'd sure be happy to share a beer. Yeah. Basically in Canada, we've got 5 major breeds that make up the majority of the registry system. Angus is number 1, Simmental, Hereford, Charolais, followed by Limousin, and then Gelbvieh. There's various pieces of research that are being done by them now, but I think it's safe to say that, like in the U.S., a lot of it is certainly tied to the field of genomic research. And with that, Simmental, the Canadian Simmental Association, has been very fortunate to secure some substantial government funding. So we have about a $3.25 million genomics research project that we're involved in, and some other work that we're working with Ricardo on at Beef Improvement Opportunities, tied to fertility, relative feed intake, and meat quality. So with that, what we're trying to do is establish and move beyond what Allison had mentioned in her presentation. There's a lot of good service provided by a couple of companies in the field of genomic service providing, but it's been off an Angus base, and it isn't valid within our Simmental breed. We're fortunate to have a good working relationship with American Simmental as well, and they have a lot of data that's been gathered historically, along with ourselves in different areas, but specific to meat quality through the American Simmental's Carcass Merit Program. Yeah, I sat here I'm going to deviate just a little bit if you don't mind, Brian. I sat here this morning and I thought, okay, we're talking about registrations and harmonizing the registry and making sure we have avoid duplication within our registry systems. And I can relate to that. I'm a producer. I came through our association's board of directors, and I'm now CEO of the association and have worked there for the last 4 years. During that time, I came across a bull that was imported from Europe that was in our herd book 5 times. He was entered in there 5 times. It wasn't all our fault. He was in the background of some animals that came from Austria. He was a German bull, some background of some Austrian animals. Entered in the U.S. herd book twice, and I can totally relate to that discussion. But holy smokes, this is 45 years after we brought our cattle. The main importations came from Europe into North America, and we're still tackling that. Let's hope we do a better job of it on our genomic research, because as we've heard in numerous instances, our research funding is spiraling downward, and the funding is getting slimmer, so we better make best use that we can of that research dollar. Getting back to the projects that Canadian Simmental is involved in, we're doing a project with a partner, Beef Improvement Opportunities, who 5 years ago we probably wouldn't be working with. We saw them as competition. But in the field of genomics research, I think we're going to see a narrowing of the global information data set tied to beef production because of genomics. We're going to finally realize what the hog and the chicken industries have known for years. I asked Bob Weber sitting there, I said, when was the last time you ever heard of a chicken conference like this? If we don't get our acts together, we might be following the same road. So with that, we have our own project that we're doing. It's establishing a pretty robust data set of genomic information. It's also validating through trial work at the University of Guelph. Dr. Steve Miller is leading the charge there, and I was talking to someone the other day about Dr. Miller, and I'm sure some of you do know him. I would sure hate for him to ever walk out in front of a bus, because the knowledge that and the involvement that some of these people have in our research work is incredible. Probably the thing that excites me the most, and it was brought up by our Irish colleague, was the Genome Canada project. And we do have 300 bulls that are being sequenced out of 10 different breeds. Holstein is one of them, but the rest are beef breeds. So how many people involved in the Limousin breed know what bulls are being sequenced in the Genome Canada project, and are they being duplicated? It's $5,000 Canadian, $150,000 being spent on Limousin bulls in that project. The same with Simmental, Charolais. Are we doing enough to make sure we don't duplicate that research? Because it's going to be the same results. And with all due respect to our service providers in that genomic field of research, we can't afford to do that. So I'll throw that out as another challenge to Interbeef. Like you need any more, right? But it's true. You know, we have ties to Ireland in that project, Australia as well. USDA is involved in it. John Pollock will be at the plate with that too. But I guess at the end of it all, I have to wonder where it's headed. And when we have the genotyping information in this hand, and it was expressed that if we can get that phenotypic data to mesh with that, that's how we truly advance beef production throughout the world. We know how small the globe is. Let's start thinking that way as a group of people that are gathered here as well. So I guess, you know, I'm ad-libbing a little bit here and running off notes, and I apologize for that, but I hope I've stimulated a little bit of thought out of it too as we go through the next couple of days. And we need to ask ourselves how we exchange data to minimize duplication and maximize the value between the countries. And the key to doing that, or the reason that we need to do that, is to make this technology and make production of beef profitable for the grassroots producers. We can talk about $50 tests and $80 tests with parentage and different things, but we got to get it down at the grassroots level for these people to truly make a profit. Beef production is great in Canada. I think from what I hear in different countries, it's pretty good all over right now. We just need to make it better.